We are so excited today to welcome your wonderful moderators, John and Hope, to the stage. And our very special guest star today, Rose McIver.
Yeah, well, why don't you just tell us about how you started acting?
I started acting, I guess it was the same. I did ballet and some singing classes, and my brother played soccer, and we also happened to kind of work in local television. It was sort of something I did on school holidays and on the weekends. It's a very small place in New Zealand, a small industry. Yeah, New Zealand, by the way. And I just kind of kept falling back into it over and over again, and I kept getting work. So I pursued that through school, and then when I finished high school, I started taking it a little bit more seriously and working with a dramaturg and doing it for a living.
When did you really get bitten with the bug and decide that that was something that you wanted to do and do it more professionally and start pursuing the actual craft of acting?
I think I realized that it was something that I loved doing, and I worked part-time jobs at a fruit shop, and I worked a part-time job at a children's playground like Chuck E. Cheese, and that was the hardest. That was the hardest I've ever worked, I reckon. But I realized that acting was the thing that I did that didn't feel like work, and that apparently you could do as a job, and I didn't consider it a job. So I think more and more I started thinking about what skills I could acquire that would help serve that. Music and dance and movement and writing. I also write, which is a really useful thing, by the way. If you are waiting for the phone to ring for jobs and nothing's happening, you can generate your own material. I'm a big fan of that. So I started pursuing that really at high school, and then when I graduated high school, I started working with a particular woman back in New Zealand who is a big mentor and influence of mine.
I saw in your bio too, you do a lot of short films.
Yeah.
And here, for the kids, we do a lot of short films, so we can, it's a great way to get the kids involved in making their own short films, and with some of them are actually writing their own short films, which is really awesome.
Who here is a writer?
Writers? Oh,
Hello.
yeah.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Can you talk about some of that, about the shorts that you've chosen to work with and do in
Yeah,
your career?
I think one of the main reasons that I like doing shorts is kind of tied into the reason that I like acting in general, and that's because you can live somebody else's existence for a brief moment of time. And when you commit to a TV series, you're playing one character often for years at a time. Whereas with short films, just for a weekend or for 4 days, or whatever it is, you can really step into this character, and it's kind of a greedy way of living. I like it. You get 5 lifetimes in one, or many more sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think short films are a really great way of collaborating with friends as well. I often, even now, Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma Swan on Once Upon a Time, directed her first short film just last month, and I worked on that with another actress called Karen Gillan. And it was great to be able to work with her material and help her develop her skill set as a director. I think she's a very talented actor, and it's a nice way to collaborate with friends. So whether it's at high school or years down the track, I'm a big advocate for co-op teamwork, making projects together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How do you feed yourself as an artist to, or what can we tell the kids about how to keep going with your art? How do you move your art forward?
I think the best thing is, especially for those of you who are writers who want to generate your own material, if you hit any roadblocks or you just can't think of what it is that you want to create, think about what it is that you enjoy watching, or what you enjoy reading, and saturate your world with that. So watching films and television or going to local theatre is a wonderful way to connect with material that inspires you, and reading. I'm a big pusher for reading. I think it's a way of taking material in that we don't necessarily promote as much as we used to, and it's a really important way to develop your mind.
And I was wondering how you handle not getting a role that you maybe really wanted, like when you go on an audition and you don't get it.
That's a great question. That's another thing. You have to love what you do, and you also have to be okay with people saying no, because that just happens over and over again, and you just let that slide. You can't let that get the better of you. Otherwise it makes auditioning quite miserable. But I think sometimes what's happened is I have not got a role that I've really, really cared about, and then 3 weeks later something else has come through that has ended up being a much better fit. And I think my best friend, this girl Fleur, always says every decision is the right decision, and I really like that. I think whatever's happening is happening. You can't resist it. You just go with it and keep doing what you do because you love it. and know that if you're tenacious enough and you stick at it and you have talent, it'll work out.
And I'm wondering, what do you look at in directors that you find incredible and makes you want to work with them? What like special things do they do?
I think, personally, I think somebody who is interested in constantly bringing it back to storytelling. That's why I started this job in the first place. I think I love listening to somebody tell a story where it's this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this is why it's important, or this is why it's relevant. And I think certain directors stray from that, and they kind of can sometimes get a little bit involved in technicalities and various things that there is a definite market for that people are interested in. But I really like looking at, is this person telling it because it's a story that matters and should be shared? And I think you can feel that when you watch a film, when you see a play, or television series especially actually, where you can see somebody comes in and it's not their whole show, they're directing one particular episode out of maybe 13 or 22 episodes or something, and they really care about where the characters all started from, where they're going, and the little incremental steps it takes to get there. So having their heart in the character storytelling is really important to me.
Can you talk a little bit, like, how long did it take you to get to this point and what kept you going?
Yeah, I think especially right now, a lot of you are at high school? High school and
middle, yeah.
Middle school, high school. Our high school starts at like 12. I think New Zealand high school is maybe different. But yeah, at school, it can be incredibly frustrating when you have if you love storytelling and acting and you really want a platform to do these things and you haven't been able to yet, or you're busy with other things, or you haven't got the roles that you're after. Patience is the most useful thing to practice, but also finding your own little ways of ferreting in and making it your own. And I think, yeah, being tenacious, people will say no, and I've had that over and over and over again. When I first came out to LA, there was a good year, and I'd worked a lot in New Zealand for years, and I came out to LA and suddenly nobody knew who I was, nobody cared. They weren't being won over by my auditions, and it takes a long time to get to know another whole group of people and another whole network of filmmakers. And I think making sure that I was working on scene studies with friends in my own time and knew why I still did it and that I still loved it, and going back to the fact, if you're 20 and you're struggling in an audition room thinking about coming to this camp and what you really loved and the costumes that you wore and the sketches that you performed and the songs that you sang and all those things, and the reason why you love it in the first place, you have to just hang on to that, because if you can still find that pleasure in it, you'll keep going. And if you are doing it for the right reasons, it's a matter of time, I think.
That's a beautiful place to end. I want to let's give a big round of applause to Rose and to our fabulous host, Hope. Way to go, Hope.